I don't buy new cars, I don't buy brand names, I go to Goodwill for my clothes. I like to save money, I like to find bargains, it's the life I chose. I throw nothing away, I'll find a use another day for all this junk I keep. My neighbors all hate me, they abuse and berate me, 'cause I like doing it cheap. Yeah, I like doing it cheap. Welcome to another episode of Doing It Cheap. Well, how y'all doing? Believe it or not, old PawPaw was out here cleaning up a little bit. And I come across this empty Crown Royal 1.75 liter jug. And I said, you know, it's about time I made another batch of wine, and answered a bunch of them FAQs, them frequently asked questions. Because I never realized how many people can't follow directions, or they're so scared they'll make a mistake, or they're like, that's too simple, there's no way that that works, or little redneck don't know what he's doing, and all that snatch to using a garden hose, and all kinds of shit, I swear to God. Oh, and the chlorine in your water. Well, I'm on a well. I've got the most awesome water you ever tasted. But I'm going to make up another batch here on this video. I'm going to show you a little different way of doing it. A little fancier way for those of y'all who don't like for me to use a water hose. But, and like my intro song says, I don't buy brand names, and I normally don't. I had a neighbor down in Florida that had looked after a house I had and took real good care of it. And so as a thank you, I decided I would stop at the Navy base and get her a bottle of Crown Royal. I never buy Crown Royal for myself, too darn expensive. But for some crazy reason, they had a 1.75 liter bottle for like $27. And I'm going, holy shit, this is almost 60 bucks where I'm at. So hell, I bought her a bottle and me too. and this lasted a long time because I don't drink whiskey much. Not since they invented the funnel anyway. But anyway, I'm not going to mix up a gallon this time. I'm just going to mix up a 1.75 liter bottle's worth. And I don't know why people have trouble determining how much you got to have to make a larger amount. It's just mathematics. You know, I made a 1 gallon jug right there, you know, out back. I made up a 1 gallon jug right there for you. And this boy says, well, how much do I need to make 5 gallons? Maybe 5 times as much as I just did? I don't know. Anyway, I got my little dry erase board here. I thought I'd show you something. First of all, let me get right here. Let's get zoomed in a little bit, because this part's kind of important. I want to make sure everybody gets this. Okay. Do you know what that is? This is a bird's eye view of a Mexican. Alright, now do you know what that is? That's a bird's eye view of a Mexican fishing. How about that? That's a bird's eye view of a Mexican riding a bicycle. And do you know what that is? That right there is two soldiers walking abreast. Alrighty then. Now we got that out of the way. Just have a little fun. Okay. 1 liter is 33.8 ounces. I was going to figure out how much it's going to take me, or what kind of batch can I make in my 1.75 liter bottle. And a liter is 33.8 ounces, and 1.75 liters is 59 ounces. Well, my recipe, and this recipe right here is, you can scale this up and down as much as you want to, okay? If I use 1 can of Welch's frozen grape concentrate, that can is 11.5 ounces. They used to be 12 ounces. They're now 11.5. Bastards. Anyway, the recipe on the can says your can of concentrate plus 3 cans of water. Okay? And it'll make you a total of 46 ounces of juice. Okay? Because you got 11.5 ounce can, and you got 3 cans of water, and that makes 46 ounces. Keep it in mind, in my 1.75 liter bottle, I've got space for 59 ounces of liquid. So we're good here, 46 ounces. Alright? Now what I'm going to do, however, for mixing this up, is I'm going to warm me up some water, and I figured I multiplied it out. The 3 cans of water is 4 1/4 cups. So I'm going to get 4 1/4 cups of water, and I'm going to warm it up a little bit to dissolve my 1 3/4 cups of sugar. Because in my homemade wine recipe, it's between 3 and 4 cups of sugar per gallon, well, or per double can. So 3.5 divided by 2 is 1.75. So 1 3/4 cups of sugar and yeast, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. It don't take much, people. It don't take much at all, because we're just making a little bit here. And let me show you the yeast while I'm thinking about it. That's another question people asked. Do I have to use winemakers yeast? I can't find it. I use this right here. This is Fleshman's. This is what they got at Walmart. This is baker's yeast. It's got a little bit different taste, but you ain't gonna know it after you drink a glass or two. But I just buy that. If I had access to winemaker's yeast, I'd use winemaker's yeast. But 1 package will make 6 gallons, okay? So keep that in mind. 1 pack will make 6 gallons, and this right here ain't even 1/2 gallon, okay? So, let's keep in mind, we don't need a whole pack of yeast, just a little bit. You don't have to worry about it. If you put too much in there, it's not going to hurt anything. If you put too little, it'll just start off a little slower. That's all. And just don't use any hot water, because it'll kill your yeast. And no, you don't have to pour this in a bowl and mix it up and let it bubble up and let it proof and all that stuff. We're not making bread, okay? If we were making some bread, you would take your yeast and you would put it in a bowl of warm water, and you'd reconstitute it and do all kinds of stuff to it and make sure it's bubbling before you add it to your flour. Well, we don't have to do that. We're not making bread, we're making wine. Okay, a few other questions. How much does it take to make just do your math. You want to make a gallon, double this recipe. You want to make 4 gallons, do 8 times this recipe. You'll make 5 gallons, do 10 times this recipe. Okay? What kind of bottle do I have to use? You can use any damn bottle you want to. It don't matter if it's a liquor bottle, a juice jug, a milk jug, it don't matter. You know, as long as you drink out of it. I mean, I wouldn't use an oil jug, you know, if it had mother oil in it. I wouldn't use a Clorox bottle or something like that. But, you know, any type of food stuff, anything that's held some kind of juice or water or liquor, just, you know, anything you would drink out of. And storage. What about storing it after it's made? Well, I know that there's some stuff you can sprinkle into it after it's made, and it stops all activity and helps clear it up and do all kinds of stuff to your wine, where you can put it, bottle it, and set it up on the shelf and all that. My wine ain't sitting up on the shelf wine. My wine is drinking wine. Okay? I make this shit to drink. And when it's made, after it's done making, then I'll put it in the refrigerator. Okay? It's done making when it quits bubbling. And you want to put it in a dark place. And you don't want to move it, you don't want to shake it, you don't want to do a damn thing to it until it's finished making. And I love a water heater closet. If you've got a water heater in a closet somewhere, it's dark and that water heater keeps it warm in there. Now, my daddy actually made a batch of this in 3 days one time in a trunk of a black car out behind a garage with the windows all rolled up, and that shit bubbled off in 3 days. I don't recommend that. Just recommend let it do its thing. I happen to keep mine under the kitchen sink, but this time of year it's cold in there, so I'll probably set mine over here by a refrigerator where you got the compressor running and that heat coming out from behind the refrigerator, or I might put it in the bathroom behind the water heater. But if I put it somewhere that there's going to be light, then I'm going to cover it up with a brown paper bag or some kind of cloth or towel, just to keep the light off of it. Okay. If you're, here we go, airlock. Do I need an airlock? It's one of them things that you put on there, and it goes up and like this and like that. And what it does is you put a little bit of water in there, and it will allow your fermentation gases to escape. It'll bubble up. You'll see it bubble up. And if that makes you happy to have one of them, go ahead and get you one. They're not very much money, but I don't use one because the only purpose for having an airlock is to keep bugs out of your wine. You don't want any type of bugs getting inside here and messing with your wine. Okay? So what I do, especially if it's a plastic milk jug or orange juice jug or water jug that's got a screw-on cap, I will tighten it, then I'll back it off just a little bit and I'll squeeze that jug and listen. If I can hear it go psst, then I know I've got it loose enough. Okay? I'm going to repeat myself because I've had people ask, What happens if I've got my cap too tight? Well, your jug goes boom, okay? See, all you want to do is just loosen it up some. That's all. Just a little bit. The whole idea is just to keep bugs from getting in there. That's it. We want the pressure to... One guy says, do I need to put a balloon or a condom on it, you know, to relieve the pressure? Well, a balloon does not relieve the pressure. Relieving the pressure would be to take the top off of it, or take a balloon completely off. But all you have to do is just loosen that cap a little bit, and that will allow air or gases to escape as it builds up. Okay? And if you notice that it's bubbling like crazy, but you're not smelling nothing, you might go in there and just check. Maybe that cap ain't quite loose enough. Okay? But just as long as it's loose enough to, well, like on this one, you can hear it's loose. But just loose enough to let air escape. Filter. Bob, do you filter your wine after it's made? Hell no, I drank it. Well, what about that sediment down in the bottom? Well, I don't usually drink that. But you're not putting a damn thing in this bottle that's poisonous or that'll hurt you. You're putting yeast, juice, and sugar. That's it. Yeast, juice, and sugar. That's all you're putting in here, and ain't none of that poisonous. And if some of that was to get into your glass, it ain't going to hurt you. It's just sediment. It's just, you know, little bits and pieces of maybe concentrated grape juice or little pieces of yeast. It ain't going to hurt you. What do I do with it? Well, I'll pour into my glass, and I'll watch that little bit that's still in there, and I'll let that sediment, you know, sit right there. And I'll pour off, and I'll leave that sediment right there. And whenever I've gotten all the wine I can get out of it, and there's that little bit of sediment left, I just go outside, pour it in the yards, and offer it to the wine gods for helping me make another good batch of wine. That's what I do with it. But if it makes you feel better to filter it, go right ahead, filter it through like a coffee filter or something. I don't do it. Hell, I drink it. I make this shit to drink. This ain't no poo-poo, foo-foo wine. This is some good old redneck, good tasting wine. And if you read all them comments underneath, you know, my winemaking video, Lord have mercy, a bunch of people are singing praises of it. They sure like it. What kind of juice can you use? You can use any kind of juice you want to. Okay? Any kind of juice. Don't write me and say, can I use watermelon juice? Yes, you can. Can I use orange juice? Yes, you can. If it's juice, you can use it. One of the boys trying to make wine out of tea. I don't see how that's going to work. But, and somebody said, you know, mine didn't turn out like yours. I did everything the way you did except for such and such. I used so and so, and mine didn't turn out like yours. Well, no shit. If you change my damn recipe, it ain't going to turn out the way I showed you. What yeast? I done told you, it don't matter. Just get you some yeast. And what juice? Any juice. Okay. So, there shouldn't be any questions. You're going to get you a can of concentrate. Let me show it to you. I really do like my Welch's. You're going to get your Welch's concentrate. I don't know why it's so dark in here. Anyway, can of juice. Add 3 cans of water. A little bit of yeast. 1 3/4 cups of sugar. That's it. Mix it up, stir it up, shake it up, whatever. Put it in a jug and just shake, shake, shake until it's dissolved. Or you think it's dissolved, then shake it some more. That's all there is to it, people. Don't make it harder than it is. And don't say, well, what if I do this instead? What if I do that? I'm not a wine expert. I just know how to make the wine that my daddy and my granddaddy showed me how to make, okay? And I don't vary from this. I like this, and if it ain't broke, I don't try to fix it, okay? I urge you, if you're thinking about trying a different juice, make this the way I showed you first, okay? It don't cost you much. I don't know, what's a can of that, $1.50, $1.25? 1 3/4 cups of sugar, it don't cost much money. A little pinch of yeast. Hell, you can make you up 6 gallons with one pack of yeast. You can make up 6 gallons. That's 12 of these. 12 of these. Okay. So don't make it harder than it is. It's really simple. I'm gonna quit talking, and what you'll see in the rest of the video is I'm gonna make me a batch of wine in this jug, and you'll just see how easy it is. I don't think I'll talk. I don't think I'll bore you with it. But anyway, if you got any questions, keep them to yourself. No, I appreciate comments, but seriously, make you a batch before you ask any questions. Okay? Do exactly what I told you. Mix up a batch of this, 1 3/4 cups of sugar, and a little bit of yeast. Stir it up, shake it up, make sure your sugar's dissolved, loosen the cap just a little bit, set it somewhere dark and warm, and don't touch it for 3 weeks. And then come back and tell me how good that shit is. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to me trying to answer these frequently asked questions and going through my recipe again. It's a lot simpler than people just try to make it difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Juice, yeast, sugar. That's all. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to make me a batch of wine. Okay. Real easy. 4 1/4 cups of water. 1 can of Welch's frozen concentrate. Of course, I've thawed it out so to pour. So that's your juice. That's it. That's your juice. 1 3/4 cups of sugar. A little bit of yeast. People, that's it. That's it. I'm going to stir it up and I'm going to funnel it. You know that bottle right there? And then in 3 weeks I'm going to drink it. I did use warm water. I didn't heat it on a stove. I just got, warm water out of the kitchen faucet to help that sugar dissolve easier. So I'm doing it the fancy way. I'm stirring it up instead of just shaking it in the jug like you saw me do it the other time. And I think you'll agree with me that making 1 can's worth of juice and a 1 3/4 cups of sugar, that comes out just about right in that jug. In that jug right there. So that's going to work out real good. All right. Well, I'll shake that up. I'll loosen the cap just a little bit and I'll set it somewhere dark. Y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. We'll be back in 3 weeks to drink it. Bye.